Alright. Welcome everybody back to Lazy Actors channel. Today I wanted to go over King's throws, specifically kind of the basics of, teach some of the basics of getting them off and how you want to apply them, and then we'll go into multi-throws and how to mix them up. So this is what you're going to watch the video for. Some ideas on how to buffer in some command throws to get them off. How to kind of condition your opponent to get them off, right? This is not the end-all be-all. I'm not that great at the game. I hope to at least be average at this point. And then multi-throws and how to mix them up, which doesn't take as much skill as it does some mind games and some know-how. And I'll teach you everything you need to know about those, or at least most of it. So, kind of King's game plan. You might have heard me talk about this before. He doesn't really have amazing lows. Yeah. I think he's got, he doesn't have amazing lows. Like, you can't mix them up in like a chain of events. I'm saying this. I think that's his only string low, and it's the starting one. So kind of hard to. It's not like Leo, which has like a low and then a mid and a high and like safe and unsafe options. It's not like that kind of character. He's a kind of a character who works on very powerful mids. Right, so that's a homing mid. That's just a mid. So really damaging while standing mid. The unsafe, really damaging mid. That's that move right here. So that's a good mid. You know, he's got a lot. He's got down forward 1. He's got, yeah, he can kind of chain his punches together with some mids. He's got 2-1, which gives you a mid. You know, so you see the point here. Yeah, he's got forward 2, which gives a nice little mid with punish tool. Okay, so basically the pokes that I'm giving you here is, yeah, that too, which is guaranteed on counter hit, I think. But the idea here is before you start going for your throws, your command grabs, right? I'm going to refer to these in two different terminology, right? Command grabs are throws that you just do a one-off and they either happen or they get broken, right? Or they whiff or whatever. But like, for example, giant swing is not a multi-throw; it's a command throw. This one right here is a command throw. All right, even though this has other parts to it, it's still even though I have options I can take from it, it's still just a command throw. Whereas a multi-throw is like RDC. Okay, so moving on. Kind of bases you want to get is you want to use a lot of what I like to do, right? I don't know what the pros do. I see some of this in their gameplay, but I don't know everything. I see what I like to do is I like to use a lot of safe mids, because basically I want them to assume that when they duck, because they assume I'm gonna do something. Oh wait, 1 second, excuse me. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. If they for any time they might try to guess I'm gonna do a low or a grab or something. In the beginning of the match, I'm not gonna do any of this. I'm gonna do a lot of highs and mids. I basically want to try to get them to stop trying to crouch. Every time they crouch, I want them to eat damage. Every time they try to sidestep me, I want them to eat damage. I want them to think that I'm playing very safe and I'm not gonna do anything crazy. And eventually, and you kind of see it in their playstyle, they'll stop trying to get out of these grab situations, and I haven't even grabbed them yet. I might do a generic grab once in a while, but I haven't even grabbed anybody yet. And then from there, now that I've conditioned them not to duck so much, now I'm going to try to use my command throws, right? Command grabs, alright? And I do this generally by buffering in my moves, right? So let's start with like Instant Shining Wizard. You can buffer Instant Shining Wizard. It's very high level technique. It's very hard to do. It's very possible. I've done it once or twice. I haven't practiced enough. Sorry about that. My mic died for no reason. Let's just hope that it's still working. Basically, what was I saying? Right. now I'm going to be looking for ways to buffer and move. So one of the things that I do is I like to backdash, confirm a whiff, and then I'll come in for a 1+2 break, instant shining wizard. Or I'll come in for jabs and I'll buffer in a giant swing with it. Or I might do this one right here and go for a giant swing, which is a little harder because it's a crouch. Against the wall. Against the wall, I like to do like a down jab because it's a high crush and it's fast into this move right here, and then get another grab attempt off. Things like that. So I use my command throws basically in that way, right? And I try to mix them up. So I do. Here's a giant swing, which is a 1 break. See, this move right here is a 2 break. Half circle back. This move right here is a 1+2 break. And they all visually look the same until they actually happen. So they're kind of hard to deal with. They're true mix-ups. And the reason this works is, let's do some generic grabs. This used to be how it worked. See how my right arm is extending forward here on this generic grab? That would mean this is a 2 break. This would mean this is a 1 break. And when they both kind of go forward, do I have one here that I know of? Yeah, when they both kind of go forward, that was a 1+2 break. King was always the grappler in the game because a lot of his throws, being a 1 or 2 break or 1+2, they all look the same, so you have to guess. And there's a couple you can break on reaction, but for the most part, he hides the breaks within his animations, so that's kind of how you use it. So some generic tools that I use, these are all generic. Any king can do these. It's kind of up to the player to kind of figure out what he wants to do here. I can give you some tips, like this move right here on block is positive. This move right here that's on block is positive. Anything like for giant swings, 10 frame grab. So anything that puts you at -9 or 9 frames or under. So for example, a connect of down forward 1 means this will beat out anything they can do except ducking, right? But I've conditioned them not to duck, or at least I've tried to. And that's how you basically, that's kind of like the basis of using King. So he's a really strong character. He has very powerful moves. He has really good combo damage, really good wall damage, and you don't fuck up his combos. He's got he's got pretty damaging whiff punishing that give you great frame advantage. So that's just King. And now, on to the real fun part, multi-throws. Alright, let me break these down a bit. So I'm going to kind of give you the idea behind these things, and then we'll talk about how to apply them, right? So a multi-throw attempt is fairly simple inputs that are used, and basically your playstyle, you'll figure out how you want to implement them. I like to use the crouch dash grabs because they're high crushes because they're crouch dashes, so they crush highs pretty consistently. And the mix-up, how you mix these up, right? How do I start with the beginning and go to the ending? Well, let's start with the basics, right? Standing heel hold. The notation here is forward, neutral, down, down, forward, 3+2. This is a 2 break, okay? However, arm breaker, same notation, simplified it, it's crouch, dash, 1+4. However, they're visually similar, as in you can't tell them apart, but they're different breaks. And you see how the break animation, when he turns blue, that means you can't break this throw anymore. And so before that happens, you can't tell which one I've done. By the time you know which crouch dash grab I did, it's too late. Your break opportunity's gone, so you have to move on. So that's how you mix these up. It's like, I like this one right here because it's a 2 break, and a lot of moves that your opponent might have just start with 1. So sometimes they'll accidentally break your throw attempts. So this is a really good thing to get to know these multi-chains here. Moving on. Okay, let's focus on arm breaker because RDC is the most fun we'll ever have. Okay, so we know that the beginning of arm breaker is a 1 break. Okay, triple arm breaker is also a 1 break. However, it is also the end to this multi-throw attempt. So if I decide to do triple arm breaker, it's over. We're done, right? That was the end That was the end. It's still a chain throw, right? Just because it's over doesn't mean it wasn't a chain throw. I just only did one multi-part. It also ends it. So I guarantee 50 damage. If I didn't break it, I got 50 damage out of it. Okay. Head Jammer is the 2 break. If you input Head Jammer, you have guaranteed struggle combination, right? If they do not break Head Jammer, you get to input this and they cannot break it. It is free. Okay. Now, Chicken Wing Face Lock is your 1+2 break. Now, this is a very special. So here are your choices, right? When you land Arm Breaker, they don't break it. You can either do triple head or triple Arm Breaker, Head Jammer, or Chicken Wing Face Lock. So your option is the 1 break, the 2 break, or the 1+2 break. They don't know what you're gonna go for. Keep that in mind. They have no idea. You know what you're gonna go for, but they have no idea, right? Because people are scared of rolling Death Cradle, they might assume you're going for Chicken Wing Face Lock. Meaning, if they're hitting 1+2, they've guaranteed your other 2 options here. So if you foresee that, you can land Struggle Combination, which I think is like 70 damage or something. And you've pretty much guaranteed it because they didn't even try to break it. Or they didn't assume you might go for it, right? So you mix these up. Now, why Chicken Wing Face Lock is special is because if they fail to break Chicken Wing Face Lock, it doesn't guarantee you but a little bit more damage. They still have a chance here. Dragon Sleeper Finisher is a 1 break, and Rolling Death Cradle is the 2 break. So, your options, and a lot of multi-throws are built like this. Your options are guarantee, or do these simple choices here, or do this other choice here that's a bit more obvious because it leads to a lot more damage. So specifically this multi-throw is how this multi-throw is set up. So what you want to do here, and you, it depends on you. You gotta, it's like a mental game with your opponent. You know, you're arguing back and forth here. If you foresee that he's not gonna go for Chicken Wing Face Lock, let's say you started out with Head Jammer and he broke it, so you're just assuming he's hitting 2, and then you try to do triple Arm Breaker and that succeeded, and so the third time you do it, you try to do Head Jammer and then he breaks it, so you're like, he's just spamming 2, and so the fifth time you do it, you did Chicken Wing Face Lock, he didn't break it, and since you know he's spamming 2, you go with Dragon Sleeper Finisher, which is a 1 break, and he's kind of screwed. So those are your options there. And these apply in real time. These are always fun to do. And like I said, they're all as I said they were. Head Jammer is, oh, not this one. Let's start with Triple Arm Break is definitely a 1 break. So the initial grab is a 1 break. That was a 1 break, right? And then Head Jammer is a 2 break. Oh, I missed it. That's another thing that might happen, though. You might miss these. It's because the window's so short, so. And then Chicken Wing Face Lock. And like I said, Struggle Combination is guaranteed. Now watch my character flash. So you see where he flashes right there, and then I can break? Right, if I miss it, I don't flash again. This next part is guaranteed, right? You just need to know the command. That's guaranteed damage. And then Chicken Wing Face Lock is a 1+2 break. So I failed to break that. Well, and I didn't get spamming enough. I broke that. Okay. And then Dragon Sleeper Finisher. So let's assume that I failed to break this. So I'm going to spam 1 because I think he's going for Dragon Sleeper. And I was right. Right? And then Rolling Death Cradle. I've missed the 1+2 break, so I'm gonna keep spamming 2, and I survived. Now, I can nullify his entire chain by doing the 1+2 because that's the way this one's built. Is if you think they're gonna go for either of these 2 options, you can just spam 1+2 and you defeat them. Now, if you're wrong, of course, they can get 50 damage and see how much damage this one does. I don't know this one. This is, I think it's 70 damage. 65 damage. Okay. So they have 2 lesser damaging options. And then, of course, they have. This is what you're really scared of, which is why I like this mix-up, because tears people up. Is because what they're really scared of is the 120 or 110 damage option you get on Rolling Death Cradle. It's like 70% their health. It's dirty, man. Or if I think they're gonna, I'll go for the 70 damage option. So the reason that if I think they're worried about RDC, I will just probably go for struggle combination, is because of that 70 damage. If they're so scared of RDC, they're gonna keep spamming two. Um, Struggle combination, or they're gonna spam 1+2 and then two. Struggle combination is my best bet because it's still 70 damage. Whereas if I were to do Dragon Sleeper Finisher, that's also 70 damage. So, if I don't fuck it up. Both options are 70 damage, so it's up to you how you play it. Um, Now, we're about to get on to the most important part, so stay with me. Some of you might have already knew this stuff. So you have these two different crouch throws, which are their own separate breaks. Everything here works the same, right? So a standing heel hold, which will go into Indian Deathlock. I bet you that's a one break. And then King's Bridge is most likely guaranteed if they don't do anything about Indian Deathlock. Or you can do this break right here, which is probably one of these is probably a 1+2, the other one's probably a 2. Basically, it all works the same way. One of these is a 1+2, which might be this one. Then this one's probably a 1, and this one's probably a 2. And this is probably guaranteed if they don't break Indian Deathlock. So that's just kind of how it works down the way. But even more importantly, so your initiations all look the same, but they can have different breaks. And then here's the real cool part of it. Some of your most damaging throws in the game. So let's use this as an example. Reverse special stretch bomb. Looks like that, and it also looks like that. It has two different versions. This is a one break. This is a two break. That's not where this ends. You see the parentheses here, where it's down forward, hold down forward, 1+3, or in parentheses it has or 2+4. That isn't a convenience factor like I originally thought it was. I figured this out when I was playing around with command throws and how to break them because some king destroyed me and I realized that I needed to go through them and refresh on how to break them. I just, out of boredom, inputted the alternate way here, and on a command throw I had broken like 50 times in a row. I inputted the alternate direction, and when I went to go input the break, I did it like 5 times before I realized that I just option selected. I can make reverse special stretch bomb a 1 or a 2 break. So it's not the only place this happens. Cobra Clutch, this is this move right here. This is the 1 break option, and this is the 2 break option. Both visually similar. It doesn't end there. This is why you want to know it. It's most important for this group right here. So reverse DDT can be is inputted either 2-1 1+3 or 2-1 2+4. And if it's in the parentheses, that means that you're making it a 2 break, and if it's not in the parentheses, that means it's a 1 break. So left is 1, right is 2. And all throughout this chain, you get to put in these option selects. So you should learn these, obviously, and they're just the opposite on the last input of the last one. So whereas Burning Hammer, the last input on this one is 1+3, where in the parentheses it's just the opposite, which would be 2+4. So it's not like really hard to figure it out. Burning Screw is is ridiculously damaging. I think it's his most damaging one. And it can either be a 1 or a 2 break. You get to pick, and they have to guess. So, if they're wrong, you can get the whole struggle on it. It's beautiful, man. So, I advise everybody to go through, learn these option selects you have. There's a hidden one, I've been told, that doesn't show up in the move list. I don't know. If I find it, I'll let you guys know. If I don't find it, I guess I don't find it. But that's kind of how you mix people up with these. I think his command throws are very powerful, and I think his multi throws are god level. So, and the reason I made this tutorial is because I couldn't find any of this information about the option select. I found that out by accident. And I in forums and people were saying about how his multi throws were trash and garbage and don't do them. And I was just looking at multi throws on YouTube to look for information, and people were they've put out videos on how to guarantee where they say things like this will 100% break this and that, and then knowing what I do now, I realize that they're all full of shit. You can basically there's no guaranteed way to break anything king grabs with. Um, I input what the break has to be, and you have to guess which it's gonna be. And if you're wrong, you lose. All right, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, put them down in the video below. If you want me to go over anything in my next video, please feel free to send a request. You can either leave it in the comments or put it in a private message to me. Either way, I'll see it. And I'll see y'all in the next video.